I'm going to show you how to create a trading statement for an organization or club in Excel. So a trading statement is where we're going to calculate the surplus or the deficit from an event where goods are sold. So we start with some opening inventory and work our way through to find out the cost of goods sold, which is quite an important figure. So we get the information about how much the item that we're selling costs, and it will help an organization make decisions about whether they're charging enough for it, because we want to have a decent gross surplus, which is the difference between the cost of the good and the amount that we sell it for, to be able to have enough money to pay the other expenses and hopefully raise a bit of money for the club. So we're looking at an example that you've done in class, which is the Te Hapara Tennis Club, and they have a coffee cart which they run during their lessons and club days so people can buy drinks if they're watching their kids play tennis. Alrighty, so we have our receipts from the coffee cart. We've got $3,000. So we're going to put that under our revenue heading. Cash sales in here, $3,000. We're going straight out into the C column because we only have one source of revenue, so we're putting in column C. If we had two bits of revenue, might be sales and vouchers or something like that, then we would be using column B. But if there's only one, we just stick it straight out there. Now this is the tricky part. We have to work out how much what they've actually sold has cost them. So we start out here with our opening inventory. If we look up further up the page, it says opening inventory $500. So we just go ahead and put that in there. And then our purchases over the year were $2,000. And so that we want to know how much they had available for sale. So obviously we're going to add these two together. So equals a sum of those two boxes. Whoopsies, I lost my click as we went there. So we go up here to that title, we put in our sum, and we put in a bracket, and then we click on the cells that we want, close the bracket, and press enter. And as you know, because you're all wonderful at maths, you know that 500 and 2,000 is going to add up to 2,500. So that's how much they had that they could sell. But actually, they've got some stuff left on the day, the balance day, which is the 31st of March, when we wind up the club. Well, we don't wind up the club, we just work out our money from it. Closing inventory, $450. Put that in. So how much did they actually sell? They've sold the amount they had available for sale minus the amount that they didn't sell that's still sitting in the cart. So they sold $2,050 worth of goods. So what was their gross surplus before we start taking out the other expenses of running the coffee cart? We want to find out what $3,000 minus the cost of goods sold is equal to, and so we get $950. And they had some other expenses. One of the things, if you're selling food, you've got to have a license, so $180 for the license. Depreciation on the cart, $80. Now, depreciation is not an actual amount that you pay with physical money. It's an allowance that you take to allowance for goods to wear and tear. So if you think of your phone when you bought it new, it might have cost $1,000, and in about 5 years or 3 years, depending on how long you keep it, you're either going to sell it for a really small price, or it's not going to be worth anything and you'll just throw it out. So over the time that you had that phone, it will have depreciated. That's a bit of a side trip. We'll do more on that later. Now the honorarium, remember that is a payment that we make to someone who's helping out in the club. It's not the same as wages because it's nowhere near as much as you would pay for wages, but it's just an acknowledgement that they were helpful for the club. Now we've got our expenses listed. We want to add all our expenses up, so we're going to do another sum. I'm going to put my bracket in this time, open the bracket, highlight the things you want to go in there, and close the bracket. Okay, so they spent $460 on the other expenses. So what is their total surplus minus all of their expenses? How much did the coffee cart make the club? That's what we want to find out. So how much it made up? We're going to have the gross surplus, and we're going to take away the expenses, and that will give us the net surplus. So they made $490 from the coffee cart, which is actually not bad. Buy a few tennis rackets with that. Okay, I hope that helped. Thank you.